When local growers put great food on Tennessee tables, that's Living Green. Tonight on Live Green Tennessee, we visit the Chattanooga Market, which was named one of America's top public markets. We then meet a young East Nashville couple that opened a restaurant that caters to the vegetarian and vegan diners. And finally, we discover all that mushrooms have to offer in East Tennessee. All this and more coming up next on Live Green Tennessee.
This program is brought to you in part by...
Behind every Pick Tennessee Products logo is a Tennessee farmer who brings you fresh, local food grown with the kind of pride that gets handed down through generations. From now through fall, you can find Tennessee fruits and vegetables on farms and at farmers markets near you. Find your Tennessee farmers at picktnproducts.org.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
The Tennessee Channel, Saturdays 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern and Sundays 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on your public television station.
Funding for this program is provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture, providing leadership on food, agriculture, natural resources, and related issues based on sound public policy and efficient management.
Hello, I'm Melinda Kiefer, and I'm proud to bring you stories from across our great state on Live Green Tennessee. For over 10 years, Chattanooga Market has attracted locals with fresh produce, handmade arts and crafts, world-class music, and great food. But the producer-only market is making a name for itself outside the Tennessee Valley region as well. Frommer's named Chattanooga Market one of the top 10 public markets in America in 2011. WTCI's Sean Townley offers a look at how this Chattanooga venture captures the vitality of the scenic city.
We start from absolutely nothing, a dark, dreary pavilion where it's just concrete and pillars. It comes to life so quickly. The Chattanooga Market is one of the largest, most authentic producer-only markets in our region, and we host sometimes upwards of 30,000 people depending on what's going on that weekend, because we have a different theme every single weekend, making it unique so people come back Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. If you're a vendor at Chattanooga Market, you have to have grown it yourself, you have to have cooked it yourself, handmade it yourself, and you actually come to the market and sell it. You can't have your neighbor sell it for you, because people come and they want to talk to you. They like to meet the farmers, they like to talk to the farmers and ask them questions about how they're growing their food.
Okay, but I put a damp paper towel around it.
That's what makes us so unique, and we're really proud of that. And we've held true to that, and that's what we stand for. We have over 500 vendors, and it's just been wonderful.
Chattanooga Market is one of the top 10 markets in the U.S., so it has a tremendous amount of variety, and variety brings people down here. We have had excellent luck in finding restaurants here and finding customers that are just repeat customers, and then every week we have new people. So we're constantly getting out and seeing different people. We're making sales every week, and it's just one of these things where people love having us down here because we are fresh year-round. We are a hydroponic greenhouse. We grow lettuce, basils, Asian mustard greens. Chattanooga Market has allowed us to have opportunities to get into restaurants and grocery stores in this area, which we would not have had that opportunity before.
I've been coming to the market since the spring of 2012. I take whole grains and I mill them fresh just before coming to the market. So usually the flowers are less than 24 hours old, I have a line of bread flours, pastry flours. I also have a local red pastry flour. And then I also make baking mixes with those and some fresh granola. This is how people used to prepare the grains for their home baking and their home cooking. They milled them themselves and enjoyed the health benefits of that and the satisfaction of enjoying what is from their own place and that connection to the land. So I really love that and love offering that to others as well. So it doesn't take very long at all. Yep.
Devil Dog Farms was started 2.5 years ago. It was originally started just to feed my family, and it kind of snowballed from there. I remembered what I liked about farming from growing up on a beef cattle farm. And here we are, we're trying to get where we're doing about 400, 450 pigs a year, about 100 head of beef, and roughly about 500 head of lamb, and then several chicken and eggs and produce and fruits. And eventually what we're getting to is a veteran-owned, veteran-operated farm. We'll be taking in combat disabled veterans and putting them to work on a 6 to 12-month apprenticeship program. And we're also going to have a butcher shop, so we'll be controlling our quality all the way from birth to plate.
And then you got sausage? Tell me about your sausage.
We got chorizo, Italian sausage. It's nice seeing the same people come back every weekend, letting you know how good your stuff is, and it's just rewarding.
We do have some organic farmers. Not everyone is organic because organic is not for everyone. It's not always necessary, especially when you're at a place like this where you know the farmer and you've gotten to know them and you know how they're growing. You can feel very safe that your food is carefully grown. When you come here on Sunday, there are several really wonderful eateries here, and different ones every time. A lot of those, the new thing is the truck vendors, I think is what they call them, and a lot of them will pull up and offer, lunch right out of their truck, and they buy a lot of their ingredients from our farmers. The cheese, the tomatoes, some of those things on pizza are all locally grown here, so you know that you're getting something fresh, and you're supporting our agriculture community here.
New Pizza's here because this is a local market, it's outdoors, and we take from a lot of local vendors with basil, tomato when they're seasonal. We want to impress upon people that local is good, regional is good, much better than getting outside of your market. You want to try to stay fresh as much as possible. So we try to source from as many places around town as we can. So yeah, we're here to support the market. We've been here since they've opened. They've been generous enough to have us.
The Chattanooga Market being a producer-only market, and so many farms been down here, so whatever you buy, you're buying it from the farmer. Usually it's picked that morning. It doesn't get any fresher. It's just nice for us to be able to use such fresh local ingredients, to be able to tell people when they come back and say, hey, it was a great hamburger, it was the best tomato I've had all year. I can tell them, we got that from Hazelbrig Farms, and explain where they are. And it's just nice meeting the farmers and knowing exactly where your product's coming from.
The Chattanooga Market is one of the largest, most authentic producer-only markets in our region, and I think the city not only appreciates it, but they've really supported us. Coming to Chattanooga Market gives you a really great feel for our community here. We have a large selection of artists, of farmers, musicians. Where else can you come and have basically 2 free concerts and attend an event that's completely free with free parking, family fun. We have a rock climbing wall for kids. There's really something for everyone, so we hope that everybody comes to experience it, if not every Sunday, at least occasionally, because it's different every single time, and it's just truly a taste of Chattanooga.
It's true that the popularity of healthful, organic, and locally grown foods has grown by leaps and bounds in Tennessee these past few years. Still, the number of this state's restaurants with dedicated vegan menus remains fairly small. But one young East Nashville couple have found that when it comes to food for vegetarians, if they cook it, they will come. WCTE's Todd Gerald takes us to this vegan enclave.
I was doing television documentaries, and the company I was with, we mostly did music documentaries, but I got really interested in the subject, factory farming.
She was editing film documentaries and stuff, and they were just having a really hard time. Like, I guess the economy was pretty bad.
And unfortunately, that documentary never really went anywhere, but it got me really motivated to try to make a change in the factory farming industry. And my husband, John, has always been a chef.
Basically, I've been working in restaurants ever since I started working, and just kind of got tired of doing the same old thing in the same old restaurants.
So I had this motivation to do something about the factory farming industry.
Instead of looking for more work, we just decided to make our own.
We had been vegetarian for many years and became vegan together about maybe 5 years ago. I realized that there wasn't anywhere to eat.
It's never been like a total struggle to find places to eat, but it's always pretty hard, especially in Nashville at the time.
With his cooking skills, we decided, well, you know, there's really nowhere for vegans to eat in Nashville.
Both wanted a place we could eat at every day and eat good, healthy vegetarian food.
So with all those things combined, we decided, like, let's just start our own restaurant.
It just seemed to make sense watching East Nashville grow and just trying to want to be a part of that.
We're in a part of East Nashville called Eastwood Neighbors, and it's great to be here because it's a lot of kind of like-minded businesses. Jenny's Ice Cream, we have the Rose Pepper across the street, Eastland Cafe, and Silly Goose. Ugly Mugs, we like to support them. We don't serve coffee, so people can kind of get their coffee from Ugly Mugs and then come in here and bring it in here. It's kind of, you know, a more progressive part of Nashville. It's our neighborhood, we love it, so we figured, why would we go anywhere else? This is a perfect place for a vegetarian restaurant. We opened in December 2009, and we had restaurant experience. It was really helpful, but it wasn't quite enough.
We had quit our jobs, so we weren't making money as we were spending it.
Neither one of us had any business experience or knowledge or skills at all.
We blew all the money we had as a couple
to start a restaurant.
I wouldn't recommend it, to be honest with you.
We had a really hard time. We got really busy very quickly.
We had a vision for the place.
And we had a strong ideology and a strong motivation for what we were doing. We were very passionate about it.
And luckily, it has exceeded that vision very rapidly.
Beans and cornbread, beans and cornbread, beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread had a fight. Beans knocked cornbread out of sight. Cornbread said, now that's all right. Meet me on the corner tomorrow night. I'll be ready. I'll be ready tomorrow night.
We are a vegan restaurant, so that means that we don't use any products that have been tested on animals or any products that come from animals, and that definitely makes it hard.
I think the biggest challenge to having just a vegetarian restaurant is like convincing someone that the food, like convincing a non-vegetarian that the food is going to be good, you know? But then it only takes them a few bites to actually get over that hurdle.
That's what beans do cornbread.
A lot of vegetarian restaurants, which we love, they use a lot of like frozen, processed, like fake meat items. So we don't do that. We don't use like, you know, fake sausage or fake, you know, turkey or anything. We don't have a freezer, so everything is fresh, and most of our items are homemade, like all our sauces and dressings are homemade. So that would be like the overarching theme, is that things are fresh and natural. We don't really use anything processed.
This has been kind of like the easiest going kitchen I've ever worked in, you know. It's small and it's busy, so that's kind of hard, but like, it almost seems like working in an all-vegetarian kitchen has like fewer challenges, like health inspections are easier. Pretty much like the whole cross-contamination thing is like the easiest thing to avoid when you're just cutting vegetables and tofu and tempeh, you know, like not like cutting a head of lettuce on a cutting board that you just cut some pork chops on, you know.
We have a really casual menu. You know, there's some Mexican-influenced items. There's some Asian-influenced items. We feature like sandwiches, salads, entrees, appetizers, and we always have a daily entree special. And then sometimes we have soup or a veggie of the day or side of the day, different side options for specials also. We have fresh juices that change every day, our desserts change every day, hummus changes every day. So we have a lot of things that keep it kind of fresh and different.
So we accept ideas from customers, definitely. Like, there's just some people that come in and be like, you know what would be really good if you just added this.
We now get a lot of our produce through Creation Gardens, and they source a lot of local produce. And then recently we discovered Nashville Farm to Chef, which is really great. They're entirely local. They source from a lot of different farms in Tennessee, and they actually, the purpose of their entire business is to provide produce to people who can't afford it. So there's this whole element of helping the community. That's still a big part of who we are, is giving back to the community. Our customers join a club, which we call the Wild Cow Friends with Benefits Club. And when they make purchases here, 5% of their purchase goes to the charity that they choose. There's a long list of charities that they can choose from when they set up their account, and it doesn't cost them anything. And then just as a rewards program for them, after they spend $100 with us, they get a $10 credit. Our customer base is really diverse, which is really cool, because we have people from the neighborhood who aren't vegetarian or vegan, and they just like a quick, casual, healthy place to eat that's affordable.
I mean, so many people come up to us and they're like, I'm not even vegetarian, but I love this food. You know, it's so good and it makes me feel good.
And the community has been really supportive of us, so I think we made a good decision as far as location goes.
It still kind of blows me away when I walk in here at night and just see like a line of like 8 to 10 people waiting in a full restaurant.
We're definitely not going to move anywhere. We may someday open another location, but this is the Wild Cow on Eastland Avenue, and we're definitely staying here.
Mushrooms are the fleshy, spore-bearing fruiting body of a fungus. They are critical in nature's cycle of renewal, and in East Tennessee, they are becoming more popular to appreciate and eat, and are now the basis of Everything Mushroom, a thriving shop in Knoxville. East Tennessee PBS Chris Smith takes us to the shop to learn a little about the value of this fungus in parks and in business.
We're talking about mushrooms today.
They're great food for us, but they're also good for the environment. You know, mushrooms are a big part of why the forest system works. It helps break down the materials, creates rich soil systems for our plants to grow in.
They are the decomposers, the main decomposers out in nature. So think about all of those dead things laying around, and if we didn't have things like mushrooms and other funguses, those dead things would just pile up, pile up, pile up.
So they're a critical part of the ecosystem as well.
Mushrooms play an important role in the forest. They're not only decomposers, they're part of the food cycle. A lot of poisonous mushrooms that you and I can't eat, squirrels can eat, turtles can eat, they have digestive juices that protect them. Their fruiting body, which is what we call the mushroom, the part we see above the ground, is not always active. Sometimes they're just in the ground as their mycelium, which is kind of their root system, and so we don't see them. There's so many different ones that we don't know about. The guesstimate is like 1.5 billion, and we've only identified 500,000. So there are thousands we've never seen a fruiting body for.
There are mushrooms that we're finding that are very beneficial to us, incorporate in our diet to boost our immune system, help fight and prevent disease. They're antiviral, antibacterial in some cases.
Some of our most beneficial medicines, penicillin is a fungus. So they're really important, not just to look at and identify and say, isn't that pretty or isn't that unusual?
The love of mushrooms is always something that I sort of grew up with. I spent a lot of times in the woods, camping and hiking. Went through scouting when I was younger, and so mushroom identification in the wild was always something that interested me from just sort of a hobby level.
We go out and do a lot of mushroom talks and walk around and show people how they decompose logs. If you think about lichens, that's a combination of fungus and algae together. The fungus is up against the tree and the algae is the part on the outside. So when you look at a lichen on a tree, you're looking at the algae. But if you peel it off or if it falls off, the part that touched the tree is a fungus. This is the algae side of a lichen. That is the fungal side. Some funguses can lie dormant, not reproduce for years and years and years, and then they land in the right spot. and they can produce. The spores are carried on the wind and are, in most cases, very, very tiny. They can travel hundreds of miles. They can travel over the ocean. If we took some samples of this particular pond, there would probably be dozens of little funguses in the water if you looked at it under a microscope or with a hand lens or some kind of magnification. It's not something that you can see with the naked eye. A lot of the funguses out there are not beneficial to us personally. They're beneficial to the ecosystem. There are funguses that make us sick. There are funguses that if you eat them or ingest them accidentally and they get into your intestinal system, they can really wreak some havoc. Black mold is a fungus. That's something that grows in damp, dark places, a lot of times in your basement. Inhaling the spores of that can make people really, really sick. Mold is one of the main allergens that we have, particularly here in East Tennessee. So mostly they like warm, moist areas that are dark. They don't need much sunlight because they don't photosynthesize. Where we find them here a lot of times are up in trees or down on rotting logs or even in the leaf mold, what we call leaf mold, which is just where the fallen leaves are starting to decay. This time of year, people walk through the leaves and kick up the leaves. You're releasing a lot of those kinds of spores that make our heads stop up, that give us those East Tennessee allergies. They are beneficial to us in other ways. If you think about all the things that require a fungus or a mushroom to be produced: bread, beer.
Mushrooms are low in fat, they're carbohydrate rich, they're a good protein substitute in most cases, chock full of minerals and some of the other vitamins that are difficult for us to get without consuming other things that are also sort of bad for our body. Growing your own mushrooms has become more attractive as the price of mushrooms gets higher in our marketplace. For the home gardener and home cultivator, they can find ways to save some money by producing the mushrooms at home, but also they're able to get a very fresh product. We specialize in mushroom culture and spawn for those who are interested in growing mushrooms in the garden or at home. We also stock a wide range of mushroom products from the medicinal mushrooms, dried culinary and specialty mushrooms, and pretty much just about anything that's related to the fungus. Things like shiitake mushrooms are great meat substitutes because they can satisfy that craving for that steak or red meat we crave. By growing them at home in our gardens, we're able to get them when they're chock full of the good things for us at their peak and prime for flavor. But also we get the satisfaction of producing food in our home garden. Of the mushrooms that we specialize in, we're primarily working with mushrooms that are easy to grow on wood or wood-based media, as well as straw or similar things.
So these are sterilizers that we use to sterilize the media. Sometimes these stick. It actually didn't. Sterilized dowels for our plugs. Then we add the mushroom mycelium to the plugs. And so when they grow, we know that it's just the mycelium that we're interested in growing, not some foreign mycelium or bacteria or other things that can be contaminants. This is a laboratory and it's sterile, and this is where we grow all the mushroom mycelium. We sell the cultures or the mushroom blocks, grow kits, or the plugs to grow on logs.
The most popular mushroom for people to grow is shiitake mushroom. For our shiitake log workshops, we simply take our freshly cut hardwood, show people how to drill it, insert the mushroom plugs into the log, cover it with wax to protect the sites, and then we go over the details that are involved with the care and maintenance of the mushroom log once it's been produced. It's very easy to do at home, and your mushroom gardens can be small or large, and they can be productive for years to come.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Live Green Tennessee, where we take you all across the state into the farms and businesses of those who are making the move to eating fresh, living sustainably, and helping us all be more organic in our thinking and the way we live our lives as Tennesseans. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Live Green Tennessee.
If you would like more information about Live Green Tennessee, please visit our website at livegreentv.org, where you can find everything from healthy recipes to past episodes and more. This program is brought to you in part by
Behind every Pick Tennessee Products logo is a Tennessee farmer who brings you fresh, local food grown with the kind of pride that gets handed down through generations. From now through fall, you can find Tennessee fruits and vegetables on farms and at farmers markets near you. Find your Tennessee farmers at picktnproducts.org.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the new Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcast in Tennessee.
The Tennessee Channel, Saturdays 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern and Sundays 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on your public television station.
Funding for this program was provided in part by the United States Department of Agriculture.